File forever. If you want Sullivan to take this one over at home, online, wherever you are here, let me hear you cheer. There we go for TSM.
Very strong force behind each team here. Each team has their fans and respective cheers. And we're going to hear that a lot throughout these team fights as we have all weekend long. The League of Legends community so ramped up and pumped. We love the rowdiness. Keep it up, guys. Everybody watching at home, huge thanks to you. Awesome stream numbers all weekend. And as we said, don't forget to upvote those Reddit threads in gaming and the League of Legends subreddit. Let's put that League of Legends on the top. Here we go for your final game, possibly if TSM can come through this with a win.
Yep, and again, the lane switch here. You see KX and Special heading up towards the top lane. And they really want to deny that Vladimir this time around. It's not Riven. Vlad, his range, has the slightly lower cooldown on his Q early ranks now.
Good
sustain. Going to heal himself a little bit. Yeah, going to sustain as he levels up. As long as he's not zoned, he'll be able to make it in there. Dan's going to walk over and see, hey, you've been trying to take my wolves, or my wraiths rather. I don't like that. And Dan's going to drop that turret down and take 2 pack for himself. I like that. Good play there. He's going to try to take over mid again.
So that'll be good, especially because he cleared that camp. It's going to respawn with all 4 as Riven goes around to the small ones now. Or not Riven, rather, as the jungler goes around to all the small ones. Yep. Oh, you're right.
Yeah, it's a switch up this time around. And I believe it's the only team that's actually been playing Riven this tournament.
Yeah, Westrice pulling that out on the first day of practices kind of gave me a surprise because I have not seen a high-level Riven played. So he is doing very well for that. And I figured that build would be tanky. But he goes mostly for damage right off the bat. Goes tanky for himself in the rune page and mastery. So we can see quickly those missiles doing a lot of damage and coming out of the jungle, goes for the stun. He's able to image himself out of that one.
But
looks nice like Salsi taking quite a bit of damage right off of the bat from those Qs from X-Special.
Yep, and Dan is harassing exceptionally well also. Just opening with Doran's Ring. Now we saw last time Salsi took solo mid against Reginald and went, oh, well, you know, I need 10 health potions because it's so harassful. But he's like, actually, with Doran's Ring, I'm just going to spam turrets and rockets, and this is so smart from Dan. This is a great adaptation. Normally, he maxes out on rockets and uses them for harass, but he's like, LeBlanc has a terrible time last hitting at a turret. I'm going to max turrets and push you to your base all day, and you're going to watch Reginald miss out on a lot of last hits here. You're going to see him get a couple here, but it's going to be difficult. He's going to have to use Qs, and Dan knows he's safe because of that. There's one that's finally getting missed there. The second, and that's Dan's plan there, is pushing him constantly to the turret. And with your jungler being Riven, she doesn't need blue buff. Dan can have that all day and push the entire time.
Yeah, very true. That's good to point out. We have seen that blue buff being donated out a lot, and that's going to happen from right at the get-go. Riven does not use that mana or anything, so it's going to be very good for her that she can just distribute all of those buffs out as much as she wants. Westrice taking a lot of damage. Could go down to Wraiths here in the jungle, and he just gets himself into the bush. I think he timed his skills wrong on that one. He's going to be forced to go back. First blood, almost going to Wraiths.
Following in Darius' footsteps, quite obviously.
Yes. So here we go, Maokai for the twisted advance. Coming in quite strong, a huge burst damage. The front end on a Dan Din, and that will be enough. The odd one and Reginald, they got that buddy thing going. They go shopping, they gank in mid together. These guys do everything together.
Wow, and yeah, they're doing an excellent job with that one. Salsi getting babysat by Yetwin, and that's not going to do a lot good things for him because now Karthus soloing against York. Maybe that's safe, but that's a little scary. Actually, they've sent Karthus mid here. Like, actually, that was really difficult. Let me take that one over, at least for a short time. And Heimer's on his way back up, but just with boots and awards, still no health potions. And Reginald getting ahead here is a big deal.
Yeah, it is. Those levels make a difference. You can see he's 5 to a 4, and Dan Din is only halfway through level 4. Reginald is halfway through level 5, so he's going to continuously level up higher. Sona coming back up top to help Ezreal, getting stunned down there a little bit. They weren't able to do too much damage with the transfusion and the dazzle.
And that blue's been warded, so you might see them try to gank this. You see Sona on her way down, wanting to stop this Riven. Heimerdinger going to move over pretty soon.
She have a power cord up, power cord steal.
It's a possibility.
It looks like Nya has also disappeared. Nya coming around the corner is going to see X-Special with that ward. And he is, it looks like he was going to be forced to walk down, but he's going to go through that ward knowing Nya has walked away. Pinging out that there is a ward here. Odd one holding in mid for Reginald. They were actually about to go up and take that. Reginald was positioning for it. And we do see that bottom has backed. See what the Rain Man picked up for himself. Looks like just a few more pots in the mana and health and his Philo Stone.
Yep, let's see how they can handle this one. So TSM up 1,500 gold as a result of better minion killing, as well as an exceptional gank early on there. Dan gonna harass out on this Maokai, doing some nice damage here, but Reginald is level 6 with all his cooldowns except Ignite, and Dan needs to be very, very afraid. Has no MR. Oh my gosh, the damage output is massive. You see him down to about 1/3 health. He's got some time as Reginald waits on cooldowns, but it's gonna be pretty painful before too long at all.
Oh, that would have been a very nice gank if they were in position for it. Both of them in mid, such low health. Those turrets doing a good amount of damage, especially the minions. It's where Reginald was taking a good amount of aggro from there, where he took the damage. Dan now free farming in lane. This is going to help him out quite a bit. He needs to do this and get himself back up to Reginald's level. It is only 5, and I think he'll be able to do it with a few more, but he walks off before he hits 6. That minion wave would have gave him level 6, so he's going to go back, I guess.
Yeah, Darius shoving the wave out as well as he recalls for items. Let's look at his current gold right now, and he's got 680 only. It's not even enough for Sorcerer's Shoes. Just going to grab the Mana Crystal, maybe some Consumables, and just head on back. He's level 6, so next time there's a big gank, he will have that Karthus in there for some damage out, but he's the highest minions on his team, 42. He's getting up there, but 56 on Chaos. Exceptionally high. That Ezreal getting so incredibly farmed. LeBlanc at 45 doing very, very well also.
Karthus returning to lane now. Looks like he is trying to build the slow catalyst. And up top, more wards. CV going down. Xpecial knows he's in a safe spot though. Just to describe why we see mages in middle and why it's a big advantage to the team is usually that AP in mid. Good damage from LeBlanc there, taking Dan to half health. You're going to put your AP in mid because they scale their damage better off of every level they get. To put points into a queue for any champion, say, it levels that ability power up a lot more than an AD would get because they rely more on the items that they purchase. That's why you leave those AD champions in a lane with a support so they can continue to farm, they can continue to trade damage back and forth. Now the mages in mid are also, they're going to trade damage, but they usually have a few health pots and they usually know that the damage is going to be traded in their favor or else they're not going to do it. So that's a reason you'll see this type of meta that we talk about, that the AD goes with the support and the mages are middle. It's all due to the leveling and how they scale off of the situation. Looks like a blue steal and a very nice one at that. Reginald is going to be walking into mid, a happy camper, with the blue of Epic. And we see Riffin doing the same thing. Westrice is like, mine for yours? But no, he's going to go for Dragon, it looks like.
Looks like blue is already missing at that point. I don't see it being worn on anyone. And actually going for a fast Dragon. It looks like there's actually no vision at all. Sulamid has no idea, and they've not been moving for it yet. And Heimerturus plus Riven, yeah, that's a pretty good Dragon attempt. You're going to see Dyrus head over there as well. The ping is there. They want to get the Clairvoyance down. This will be a fast Dragon. Great by Epic Gaming, though they've lost a kill. Yeah. They've lost a Golem. They've gotten a Dragon, and that's actually pretty important there. That's a good trade.
9 minutes into the game is our first Dragon. We're going to see that come back up. It is a 6-minute respawn, so 15 minutes on that. LeBlanc's going to give a little check and sees the turrets there. Says, hey, that's some gold. I'll let somebody else get it, though.
Yep, KX going to profit 24 gold as a result of that. Not too bad. Doesn't suck.
And Xpecial to meet down bottom with him. It looks like they're going to change up the lanes here. Wow.
I'm going to send 80s back to bot. Well, he's got his Wriggles Lantern now.
Yeah.
Vlad soloing top, though. It's good for Salsi to finally get some levels here. Vlad definitely really wants to level up there. He's going to have a lot of power gain from doing so. And he's also really good at just AoEing down minion waves, so when he's left alone like that, you'll just see the minion waves full clear, and he's got some decent turret pressure afterwards. His minion waves will get nice and big, and he'll get some nice pressure there for his team. I think turret kills might be for the first time something that Epic could do better here. They've got a lot of really good pushers.
Yeah, something to point out right now, and we're going to see the gold start to creep away constantly in favor of TSM. They have 3 GP10s that's always adding to their average gold count. So that number on the right, that purple 12.4 right now, is usually going to be a bit higher. Unless Epic can really pull out a lot of unopposed dragons and get those towers in their favor, that gold per 10 is always going to be ticking in favor of Team Solo Mid.
And you can see Dyrus just back at his turret. Doing a good job last hitting, though.
Yeah.
Individual gold stardom, though. Look at that 29, 27, 3K, 2,600 there, 26, 28, and then a couple of poor guys. So, yeah, the individual gold as far as superstars go, TSM's got 3, Epic's only got 2. So you're going to see, in those team fights, all 3 of those big farmers doing a lot better. Dan actually kind of slacking because he's had very difficult lanes here. Reginald actually defeating him in that solo mid so far.
Wow, they're getting pretty aggressive down bottom lane. The crescendo goes out. The ulti in from, no, not the ulti rather, but the hop in from Riven. They are going to be able to take down Sona, fight fast. The exhaust onto Chaos to not take too much damage. And here comes the Rain Man teleporting in on the Siege minion. Westrice will fall to this, but he will try to get out in a valiant attempt. It's going to be one last sapling. No, he actually makes it out. Oh, he jumps in. They do have to expend Flash to get that. Will they continue pursuing under the turret? And they do not. I really thought Westrice was done in that bush, but able to dash away.
That's LeBlanc. Is your stun ready? It is! Not in time, though. She will pick up that kill. And that's going to be a good trade there. 3 for what? Is it just 1? They really only get 1 there?
Yeah, they got Sona. Special went down, and they just absolutely turned on that. It was one of those situations where if you look near Dragon, the wards actually just went out, and Epic does not have vision there. They started off thinking they had the upper hand. The Karthus wall went down, and out of the bushes came the odd one, and Maokai threw down his ulti, negating huge amount of damage that happened throughout that fight, and they were really able to turn that one around in their favor. Well played and good composure from TSM in that bot lane fight.
Yeah, and Salsi's going to keep shoving this wave, and things especially going to have a really hard time last hitting against a turret as Sona. So Salsi's going to be happy to stay here, use that transfusion, get his health back up, and then just Tides of Blood, crushing these minions down. So he's missed a couple here, still keeping a decent health bar, and then you're going to see Special just try really hard. And we'll see if he's successful. Not so much yet.
You see those turrets laid up and down. That's actually very good because then he can play, instead of vertically towards the lane, he can play horizontally, walking left and right, and that forces LeBlanc to walk in front of 2 turrets. Now you can see him setting up the defensive wall with his turrets to push quite hard. LeBlanc is going to back off and grab blue. They may get a ping on that, but it looks like it's going to stay for itself. Special seeing the ward being placed, getting a ping on that.
And you can see Reginald making great progress here. Needlessly Large Rod is being carried 2-0 in kills and actually keeping up in minions as well. 85 minions here, certainly ahead of this Heimerdinger. Tied up with Vlad, just barely behind Karthus. The 103 on Ezreal. Chaos still holding the record for most last hits in this game and keeping it there. And that is very, very big.
Yeah, doing a great job. That money is going to help him stack up. In League of Legends, it may seem like some of these guys aren't getting a lot of kills. They're not able to fight too well in a fight. Or not fight too well, they will be fighting well. But if they have creep score, you can negate that fact if you're not getting kills. Don't think because you're getting assists or you haven't gotten too many kills that you're not going to be a formidable opponent. If you continue to out creep score your lane, and that's last hitting all of these creeps, it gives you money and you're able to still buy your items. Yes, the kills will help on champions, but if you can do it this way, you can still be at that top notch for your game. So you'll have to see that coming into League of Legends. If you don't know about it too much, make sure that your creep score is one of the things that you're always focusing on as well.
Absolutely true, and you see Salsi and the Rain Man doing battle here at the top lane, both sustaining quite well. Salsi pushing to the turret a little bit, but Rain Man actually bullying him around, and there comes the odd one as well. Salsi, not in a happy place, will pull away, trying to make it out, but the Rain Man blowing him up with ghouls, says thank you very much, I'll take that. Salsi not in a happy place.
Yeah, TSM very strong right now, and just, oh, Dan Din getting wiped there for about 40% of his HP. That was from, that hurt him. He has to go back right now. He does not want to leave that to chance. There's way too much mobility on this TSM team. He can be quickly flashed and twisted advance, or Reginald to just go ahead and just mirror himself once more, throw himself in there and flash, or blink back out rather. Kayax down bottom to farm by himself. He did get that Wriggles. Looks like he has the Sheen again for that build, Triforce build. Top lane, Maokai, the Shurelias already, and Rain Man, the Manamune, once again on Yorick with that Philo Stone. The gold continues to creep up, now at a 5K advantage.
Wow, 5,000, and again they've built this advantage, and they keep building it every single game. Now, Dragon is up. Yep, and they could stop them, and they seem to be able to do so. It's a 3-2 down here. They've got a good chance at this. They put a ward down. This could be a teleport for the Rain Man, but looks like as long as their smite is good, and they will get it. Wester's actually jumping in front to tank that Q from Ezreal. And actually, she could get in range. This Riven, not quite. Yeah, KX almost baiting them too as his team is showing up.
Yeah, without the turret there and not enough vision of where the rest of the team was for them to focus all their cooldowns on Ezreal could have been a bad situation. They played that one quite smart. Epic's going to back up after getting themselves some gold. And you can see just how much a Dragon closes the gap. They're only 4K, 3K down now. So global gold is a huge thing in this game, and you're going to see that happening between turrets, Baron, and Dragon. for the teams to try and get that.
Yeah. And Dan putting out some harassment, getting some flack back as well. They've got to be a little bit afraid of that, but their team fight, they've not had one yet, but their team fight is full of massive AoE damage. So this is going to start out a little bit scary for Epic, but they've been able to win a couple of Dragons in a row. They're down in turrets, but that's TSM way. That's always going to be happening there. And they've managed to win it the last time. The last BO3 these teams played, Epic was able to go through and take over the winner bracket final. Still a possibility here. You're going to see Vladimir scales a whole lot in a late game. LeBlanc is rumored to fall off late, although she's been having a great mid-game so far. Dan getting hurt quite a lot. Look at that health bar going down. He's got Mercury Chest, but it's not enough yet.
And that Rabadon's is not even finished for Reginald. Again, I believe, no, they're level 11 to 10, so that's not even a play on the level damage. That's just Reginald doing a lot of damage, especially with that blue continuously casting out. They're trying to get some good damage down on this turret, but the minion wave is wiped clear quite fast. And we still have yet to see what happens when Vladimir and Dyrus both get that ulti on in a fight. I think it's going to be pretty painful for these guys. If you look at the health bars, you can kind of tell how tanky they are. The more dots per health, 100 per dot, the tankier they are. Reginald is actually quite squishy. That's why he's in and out with his poke game. You can see how much damage Dan Din is taking. And for Special, Kaox, and Reginald to take that damage of Salsi and Karthus' ult from Dyrus is going to be quite huge and could really turn the fight in their favor.
Yep, let's see what they can do about this. So Salsi taking some damage there. And wow, Kaox with that Wriggles Lantern also is able to one-shot those turrets sometimes. It occasionally will trigger that bonus damage that does enough to kill them off. You can see only 410 health on those turrets.
A pretty good minion wave here on the turret. Maokai's going to go in. Takes a transfusion. Tides of blood there. Focus on to Dan Din, but I don't think they're really going to try to fight this. The Shurelias has been activated by Odd One, and they are going to back out. However, doing a good amount of damage. They're not really trying to force too much here. They just want 150 gold for everyone.
Yeah, sure. And Dan did burn his flash there.
Yep.
So that's also a kind of a problem. TSM, I believe all their flashes are up. That's really quite significant. And they can push and get this turret pretty much for free. Kaox doing a lot of damage there. That will go down. Now 3 turrets to 0. Dan's still not buying more MR, though he's going to go for a Chalice soon. I'm a little bit surprised to see the Meki Pendant first and not the Null Magic Mantle.
Yeah, with the ability that Reginald has to jump around, I think Dan's saying, hey, I can position myself in a fight. My turrets will be near me. If I need to, activate anything, I can just throw my ulti on my turrets, and I'll be all right. But I think Reginald is going to be a little bit more dangerous in that, and he will focus out Dan. His damage is not going to do too much to anybody else like that. They're a little bit more tanky, and he could really take him out in a few seconds, especially if Odd One were to Twisted Advance. They can put somebody out of the fight, and just like that.
Absolutely true. Salsi has his cooldown boost, going to help him out a little bit. Transfusion comes out, some more health picked up. But TSM getting ready to steal another buff, and there is Blue on the respawn. They've been clairvoyants. We'll see if they go for it. CV runs out, and TSM, they don't seem to be making a move, so that's going to be another free Blue. Nice try by Riven, almost grabs it. She actually has gold this time around. Still a little bit low on minions, only 88, but that's what you get for being a jungler and not running into the lanes to take farm, but she's doing okay for gold again, still has a chance of pushing around Ezreal, although this time Ezreal did go Wriggles, which means his damage output against, or rather the damage received by Riven is going to be a little bit lower this time around.
Everybody clearing out the jungle right now. It looks like TSM has retreated back to their jungle to start taking some buffs here. Their blue buff is to be taken away. Reginald in mid, however, has quite a full blue buff, so I don't think he's going to take this. It will be going to Ezreal. That cooldown is going to help him chase and kite as much as he requires. Riven, Westrice, and Rainman duking it out down bottom. Not really too much damage being traded. Very nice shield there, keeping yourself sustained. And it looks like they are kind of gathering here in mid, but that's just for the defense on TSM's turret. They're not really pushing up too far. They know they have good control. They want to get all their lanes pushed. We may see a Baron attempt coming out here, Freak. We are at 20 minutes.
20 minutes in here so far. A big advantage so far for TSM. If I were them, I would not go for Baron unless I had a significant, obvious advantage. Like at this point, if Epic goes for maybe a chance at Dragon,
right,
then you have the ability to say, okay, well, we can just hop in here and kind of just clear out a Dragon real fast. But remember that Reginald is not a very good sustained damage dealer. He's all burst, so he's really a non-factor there in attempting that. Yorick will do a good job. Ezreal will do a good job. Sona and Maokai not so much, and Reginald, as I said, on LeBlanc, also that case. Now, when he was Karthus just eviscerates Baron. And that's just like, oh, sure, we have Karthus, give him blue buff, just win the game, no problem. LeBlanc does not have that same ability. That will be a little bit more difficult.
Good damage there, keeping their lanes pushed. They are hugging that left side. Going to see some wards going down most likely, going for this top turret as well. Reginald playing very dangerously here as he moves down. He was kind of going to come around and try to pinch somebody. That ward is there, so they do have vision. He knows what he needs to do and what he can't do, so not too dangerous per se. And he did see Dyrus coming around that right side there. They have really good ward vision in this side of the jungle.
It's true. Let's look at the vision right here. Well, Epic's got almost nothing. TSM, though, can see almost every exit of the base. As long as minions push down to the turret, they'll see kind of everywhere the Epic goes. Double buff Ezreal, kind of important. He's got about a minute and a half on each of these.
Looks like Ezreal actually maxing Q and E. He has not got 1 point in W.
Oh, wow, not even a single one. That's actually surprising to me. I would normally expect to see one, even if just to trigger your passive or to slow down everything else. But I guess when there's no auto-attackers, really big auto-attackers for Epic, only Riven who's going to be still half spell-based, there's not a lot of point in buffing it up, so I understand it. Still a little bit odd.
And they are moving back down to mid. Again, TSM really the second nature to continuously push their lanes is just one of those things that makes them such a hard team to play against. You're not taking down any turrets. They have denied all 150 global gold of that first, second, obviously third row since they can't get to the base. And that's really where they start to take a lot of control. They force your team to split up. And then in their team fight, they're going to push down middle. They're going to push down one lane by themselves while having a teleport on the Rain Man to guard any of those lanes. Without a teleport on Epic's side, they're really losing control of a lot of their lanes, and TSM excels at controlling them.
And there's that dragon again. It's Karthus doing great damage, of course. And actually, with most of that team still missing, TSM not able to go for it. And of course, oh, we're dragoning? Well, you should probably CV that. Well, I guess we're okay. And that's good, though, for Epic. They do need that so very much. Still 6,000 gold, the deficit, but they've managed to keep that from growing.
Gonna get a pinch here. Dan gets the wall thrown down to a little bit of help to him. He's gonna try to flash back through the wall. True shot barrage coming up from Ezreal. Rain Man's ghost. I believe that. Yeah, that's Rain Man taking all that damage. Very nice flash. And it will be Westrice going and taking out the Rain Man. Killing spree from Reginald as he just continues on. Like I said, he is going to focus down Dan every time that he can, whether it be out of brotherly love or not.
And it's probably out of spirit of competition. Heimerdinger is not a champion you want to keep alive.
Exactly.
Oh, Special. Taking that kill. And actually, Yorick was still able to take an assist off of that one. Nice job by Special. And the one thing I want to point out, though, is also he did not need to chase. Of course, he's getting chased away by Sona, so sure. But Karthus' ultimate was still available, so Riven didn't need to chase super hard. Riven could have kind of backed off and just let Requiem take it over. Of course, that cooldown still going to be up for the next fight. But ended up turning into a 2-1 in TSM's favor, which is surprising because York just straight up got caught by 3.
Looks like Dyrus doing what he can to take the jungle creeps. They're getting some wards and clearing here on Baron. Looks like Special is going to walk in there and make sure nothing's going on. Blue is going to go to TSM again. A lot of map control over these past few games by TSM. The CV is out above them, but I don't know if they're going to be able to challenge this. The Lay Waste is in range. They actually may be able to get this one pretty easily. And they did not. Maokai was able to grab that. Dyrus, however, kind of getting a little close.
A little dangerous. The stun almost landed on LeBlanc. That could have been an insta-gib there. Landed Tex, and afterwards have Vladimir go for the burst. She has no good sustain there. At least not burst, but, no real good burst healing. Only the Sona sort of over time, bit by bit. So could have been a chance there, but now we've got to be a little bit wary here. There's a lot of damage output available. Karthus in the fray. Riven jumping in as well. They've dodged the Ezreal, and they're off onto a Special. Almost dead, but not quite. 13 HP. Karthus goes down. Rayman picks up Westrice, but there's one down. Reginald is low, but looks like another one as Vlad is about to fall. His ult goes through. Good damage output, but no. Will drop down as well. 2-1 so far. Karthus getting away. TSM very hurt and no sustain available, but they will go for this turret here. They have a good chance of taking it. Dan is healthy. Dyrus is healing. Tarek is healthy, but he can't 1v3.
Very nice job there, and TSM is doing an amazing job of staying separated in these fights. To stay out of Defile, to stay out of Vladimir's ulti, they're playing very well, and they're leaving Maokai in the front. Obviously, he can throw down his ulti, and his team is looking for that too, to take less damage. They're doing a very good job of communicating in the fight. Chaos gets stuck down though. It looks like Karthus may be able to grab this. He does use Arcane and Flash to get out of that one. Very nice try there.
And KX is alive, drops his Wriggles Ward down to see if anyone's chasing. High Vinegar is doing so. Oh, the grenade! Almost enough! For the turret, rather. 250 damage. The rocket coming out. Turret there in the middle. There we go. The rocket came out and did some damage. And Epic, actually, they want to go for... Oh, because they forced KX out, they're going for a Baron attempt. They have a really good chance at killing Baron. They have Heimerdinger turrets. They have Karthus, but Maokai says hi. Dyrus goes down to the odd one. They will fire back and pick that one up. Bounce will go on to Riven, but that was a nice trade. That was a good move by TSM. Completely shut down any Baron attempt.
Rainman actually used his teleport on that. He came into Baron a little bit late on that ward, so he will not have that for next fight. The odd one is down, like you said, trading 1 for 1. That's quite nice for them. And we will have to see if they continue to push this mid lane, knowing that both of them are down. The blue is up. We'll see Reginald go ahead and take that. And looks like Riven is going to be going for red.
Choice there. Although Riven just had recent buffs. She just killed double off the, I guess she only when he really auto attacks here, so sure, I guess you can just double up on your red buff real quick, but really not going to make a lot of use out of it. Dan, only level 12, which is actually rather low. When you look at the rest of the team here, let's just take the Rain Man is 17. And you've got, my souls are like 13. Jungle's 13.
Wow.
Yeah, those are really low levels. Sure, LeBlanc's 14. Sure, Maokai is only 13 as well. KX only 14. But the Rain Man just so
tanky.
Huge.
That Warmog.
Yeah, he's huge in this game. He's doing some phenomenal things there, and they might be the man.
Odd one, taking out some wards. Very nice job. There's Nut with an Oracles as well. Looks like he's going to start pushing up. And again, they want to pressure this. This is a forced Baron fight here. Anyone to get caught out of position here will definitely initiate the fight fully.
Absolutely true. And they've got a nice MR stack. You can see we've got the Spirit Visage both on Maokai and on Yorick. No real extra MR. I guess the Chalice on Sona is actually there as well. Ezra just got a Negatron Cloak, so they're definitely building resistance against this team.
There's a minion wave down bottom. They should be able to clear this quite fast. A good amount of damage from Reginald on to Vlad. They do have to remember that LeBlanc falls off quite hard late game, so if they can continue to carry this on, it still looks pretty good for them, but they do have to put up with that Maokai and Yorick late game as well, which are very strong characters.
Yep, and they see that, they're kind of grouping this wall right here. A wall of pain right there would have been awesome to try to lock them in there. Reginald goes in there, some damage. Riven's going to go in on this. Wall of pain is there, and they're going to jump in. Oblin in front. Dyrus not in good shape. He will drop down, but Defile and Wall of Pain are on. The damage output is strong. Looks like 2 will fall for just the 2 as well. You see the Rayman chasing down Dan Din, not in good shape. Dan does fall. Only Salsi and Yetwin alive right now. They picked up 3 for 3, actually.
Very nice job, Salsi, on the triple kill.
Oh, man, that triple kill from his ult doing so terribly much damage, and everything else coming in there. But again, TSM wins these. Even if they tie in the fight, they come out ahead because they have health still and another turret. That's all 6 auto turrets. Once again, they've not lost a turret all game as well, and they're keeping that advantage for themselves, and that's what's given them this 9,000 gold lead, as 6 turrets are about half of that.
Yeah. Very, very big. That gold per 10 also ticking on. And it looks like they are going to lose the first inhibitor turret of the game here, about 30 minutes in. And TSM is going to back off on that. Possible Baron here soon. Now with as much vision as they have, the minions entering the base on the top side, they can get the mid lane pushed and the bottom lane pushed. Those minions give you just as good a vision as ward if the enemy team is coming out of their base.
Yep. TSM just going to push on back, and of course they have such position now for Baron. Those minions will probably just stay to that advantage, while Epic will have a little bit of extra free farm because the minions will push for them. They have to be always wary of Dragon, always wary of Baron, and actually TSM might get their first Dragon of the game because Epic can't really stop this here.
See the teleport for 20 seconds on the teleport for Rain Man, so they may be down for initiating something soon here. Very nice job, the odd one clearing things out. He's like, hey, I think there's a turret in this bush. It's shooting me. Didn't hurt. Here we go. They are going to be focusing on this lane here. They have an open inhibitor. Now, what this means is they can pretty much go around the front base of Epic as long as the creeps are there and continue to play with this top lane because that inhibitor is wide open. That is a forced fight, and it does not. They have to let it take a little bit of damage unless they counter it. Here it is. They are trying to push up a little bit. The wall is down. You can see a few shots were taken on that inhibitor. And there it is. It looks like it's going to go down in this instance. They don't really have enough there to do it. They have all 5, but the initiation is not in their favor yet. Riven goes in, but Westrice chooses to go out as well. The True Shot Barrage taking Dan Din down quite low. Really be able to help in this fight. We can see Reginald staying out for the entire time. The crescendo goes out, and it will be the first kill onto Sona here. Westrice also falls, but it looks like Yorick picking up a triple kill there. Rain Man coming up very big as the Karthus ulti comes out. Do they have the minion wave to make this happen? It looks like that Wall of Pain is going to shut a few things down, and it will slow everything for them, so they won't be able to make it. They don't have enough to tank this turret. They do, however, have a maximum of, I believe, about average 30 seconds, rather, to do more damage, and they're forced to back off. They may have enough health to get at this Baron if Rain Man can be in and out on the tank.
Yeah, they're going to maybe try for that, actually. They are running all back in a line instead of the instant recall. They're heading up towards Baron, and that is going to be the case. Karen's going to lead the way. This Baron could secure them the game. They're going to push in for this. If TSM can't win this game, they will win MLG Providence in 3 straight games in the end here. And this Baron doesn't even have a chance. They will take that down. Great tanking by those tanks. And indeed, it will fall without taking any victims. TSM will walk away with a Baron buff, an inhibitor death, and a 12,000 gold lead.
Very nice job there, looking quite grim for Epic, but we have seen them come back from worse here, where you're going to want to turtle, just kind of hang out in your base, clear the creeps that are coming at you, and as I've said this before, TSM has to continue the aggression so Epic doesn't have that chance, but they're going to do everything they can to get this dragon, start trying to take down some turrets, but they have to be very careful about the fight initiation. That Baron buff makes TSM so strong.
Yep, they're going to grab this dragon right away. They knew TSM was recalling, they knew the timing on that. They got it and got out. The minions are in the base, though, and they need to defend that. And there is a teleport in from Yorick. He's going to go for some turrets, and no one's around to stop him, so he might get a free turret out of this. He's going for this really, really hard. It's down to half HP, and the Rain Man making an excellent play. Dan's going to be back in there. Grenade goes out, rocket goes out. It's going to help a little bit, but the turrets aren't going to be enough. Rain Man will, in fact, looks like he will. No, he won't take it quite down. He's going to get stopped. Now, can they get in range to stop him? Looks like not the case. He runs fast enough for that Trinity Force, but the front door of the mid lane going down. KX takes the turret. 8 turrets to 0 still. Rayman does go down thanks to Riven. But Westrice gets traded back in by the Rayman. 4v4. Westrice dead. Salsi in bad shape. Dyra's in bad shape. The pain is pretty immense right here. Salsi falls down. Yep, and that is a dead Karthus. Ult still on cooldown, I think. So that's going to be 1 turret death in TSM. Still 4 versus 3 strong. Going to keep pushing down. There's an inhibitor available
to tank this last turret. They don't have the minion waves there, and they do have a few up. Looks like Maokai is going to go in. That does not stop damage from turrets. His ulti will not negate that damage as it does for champion spells, so he's got to be careful there. A very nice, ethereal chain, just missing Salsi. The ultimate Hemoplate going out from Vladimir. Will they be able to do enough damage here? They do not have Karthus up right now. He will be able to take out one. A valiant attempt. Dan Din is forced out. The power cord almost takes him down. A very close one on that by Xpecial, trying to get a final kill for himself. They are pushed off against the turret once again. And there it is, the twisted advance in. Westrice falls. Dan Din taking a little bit of damage there, puts out the turret, throws down the ultimate. They're going to focus onto this. And ladies and gentlemen, possibly a final push here. If Epic or TSM decides to leave, and they do, a very big push in 35 minutes. TSM not giving anything to chance here as they take down that last inhibitor, or the last Nexus turret. If any inhibitors still come up, they have to take those down before they get the Nexus. But if they have an inhibitor down, they will be able to go straight for it. And with the teleport of Yorick on Rain Man, this is going to be very scary for Epic.
Absolutely. They have 1 minute left on the Baron buff, though most of the team has died and lost that buff since. We've still got Maokai, Sona. Well, okay, so most is an exaggeration, but Maokai, Ezreal, and Sona still wearing the Baron buff. That is actually rather significant here. But with 2 inhibs dead, you're going to have a lot of free farm here to Epic. Now, they're still very much losing in levels and gold and all that fun stuff, but they at least are catching up. Now, that's not to say it's going to be instant win because 2 inhibs are down, but This will help them a little bit. This next fight should be fairly close, especially if they can wait until the Baron buff times out. There's going to 3-minute respawn. After Baron buff times out, they have to wait another 3 minutes for him to respawn. And when that happens, that's kind of the best time for Epic to try to catch back up. Then after those 3 minutes end, inhibs should come back, and they could have this. So looks like TSM are ready to push in. If they can win this push, they will win MLG Providence. We'll see if they can make this happen. They're going to camp down to this turret. We'll see if Epic can do it. Westrice getting some stacks on Bloodthirster. It's only not even a quarter of the way up. And there we go. TSM pushing in for this turret. Wall of Pain, doesn't matter. Let's go.
It looks like it could hurt a bit. They have not taken down the turret yet. It's what they want to fight under, but it's really not going to help them in this fight. This final push here with the minion wave, most likely for TSM. They are pushing through the twisted advance and flash away as True Shot Barrage fires through the entire Epic team. A lot of damage being dealt both ways, actually. Xpecial forced out, Reginald forced out, both dropped down. Epic has not lost one yet as they actually lose 2 to that coming out strong. Westrice almost down. The Mystic Shot hits, but he gets a heal from Nut. And Nut keeps alive Westrice in that fight. They are not able to get the Nexus, which is now back to full health. A very good stop on that push. Can they get back off the fountain quick enough? The Rain Man is not stopping at hitting the Nexus. He is continuing to just not care about the damage that's happening. Only a few more to go. TSM will take MLG Providence and be your North American champions.
Excellent.